good for a poet to follow a singer, a musician. But so what I thought I'd do is have a little warm-up, just like a musician would warm his instrument up. And I just happened to be sitting back there next to a shelf and pulled off the book of top 10 lists by David Letterman.
Oh, yes.
So, a good thing for a poet to warm up. These are favorite words to pronounce. Rotisserie, diphtheria, skink, thickalicious, salve, tuber, Farvignugan, Mellencamp, ringworm, and number 1, wiener. Okay, and then my voice in sync here. Top 10 words used least in the Bible. Number 10, perky. Number 9, fudgelicious. 8, rootin' tootin'.
I should remember that one.
7, Budinsky. 6, Schweppervescence. 5, Mall Bunny. 4, gas guzzling. 3, Yankee fan. 2, boing. And number 1, slap happy. Okay, that sort of fits my mode of poetry, because one of my thoughts about poetry is that anything can be a poem. And the first poem I'm going to read is called Stink Bug Winter. Has anybody encountered a stink bug? Besides my wife within the last day. Okay, Stink Bug Winter. Outside, a still winter afternoon, blue crystal glints. Inside, across the room, a speck on my pillow. Too dark for sleep drool, too small for coffee spillage. A stink bug, resting, calm, on my white pillow. Carefully, tissue paper in hand, I scoop, but don't grasp. A whoosh of my arm in a graceful arc, I gently sweep it off its many feet, disturbing its stink bug serenity abruptly with the harshness of the natural order of Darwinian selection of mankind, of life. With some primal revulsion, I release it into toilet eternity. But I pause. An entire flush for one stink bug? I delay, put in eye drops, brush my teeth, examine myself in the mirror, while the stink bug dog paddles worriedly next to one square of toilet tissue, an unreliable lifeboat. Makes me wonder about stink bugs. The next generation, I mean. The ones who don't get flushed down toilets. Will they get their own places? Will they live in peace, claim as their own certain regions, separate but equal, and bring up their young in the stink bug manner? Where do I stand on this, given my casual cruelty? Maybe this is why I'm not writing more poetry. Stink bugs happen. I have bigger questions to answer. My next one is about maple syrup. And I'm probably one of the few people, maybe the only person in the room, who doesn't really like maple syrup all that well. But it's a big thing here. I moved here from Virginia a couple of years ago, and last spring took a Maple Weekend tour, and it was completely and utterly fascinating to me and my wife. This is called Maple Weekend Tour. Our guide's name was Tibbets, an apt name for a maple woodsman. As the work went down at a slow pace, one small drip at a time, his 7-year-old grandson, Connor, proudly offered us pieces of maple syrup cotton candy, a fluffy cloud of nature's kisses, spun from the tubes outside, 15 miles of conduit tubes. The Tibbets family knows that syrup is slow progress, and that spring's warmer air gently hastens the fragrant leak of maple. Conduit pipe replaced the old methods, 30-pound buckets, old pails, drills, and spiles. Spiles. It's a lovely term for the small piece of metal or plastic injected into the trunks of trees. The spiles merely poke the trees. who give up their sweet liquid easily, not too deep, and then gratifying flow. Not deep like the Tibbet family, generations marked by the accumulated maple, nature's shared bloodstream. Grandson Connor would be giving this tour in years to come about the journey of maple and about those who wait for it. Sometimes things just come on slowly, just right, but slowly. And like the Tibbets, they remain patient and faithful as we wait for eventual spring and its shared religion of warmth. And the final one gets a little bit of an intro. My wife travels quite a bit, and when she calls me at home, it's just the two of us, and she calls me at home, she asks me how I'm doing eventually, but first she asks how the dog is doing, okay? And this is called What I Didn't Tell You About the Dog. So nice of you to ask after her, as you do when you travel and leave us, just the two of us. It cheers me to tell you all about what a shining example of dog she has been. Cheerful and supportive and happy in her situation. Her share of me having risen from 50 to 100% in your absence. When actually, I've been letting her run with a mob of deer while you travel and leave us. But I do remember to put an orange hat on her as I release her into the wild, where she gets to run free and easy with does and bucks, her quicksilver pals. She comes home breathless and giddy with the shivering excitement of it all and promises not to whisper a word about it. Thank you.